Of candidates, so Patrick is welcome to ask any question he has for his opponents.
Cool.
You will have
so
30 seconds for that. Thank you.
So I guess the biggest thing is, can you tell us why you would make the best candidate and what sets you apart from the other candidates?
That's a very good question. So I've been trying to get as involved as I can. I put my platform past every staff member I could, trying to make sure that my platform is consistent with what we are capable of doing and what our staff infrastructure is capable of doing. You can find out more at votediaz.ca, and I hope you do, because I put a lot of work into that platform. Thank you a lot.
Why would I be the best vice president of student life? Well, I was helping people and participating in all of the campus institutions before it was cool, before I even knew about this position. I have sang with the University of Alberta Mixed Choir. I have pet barn owls with the Wildlife Society. I have grown interesting plants with the Botany Club. I know the value of having someone to reach to all the time, having a community that has your back. I had the honor of participating in throwing perhaps the best party that this school has known, the Confessions Party. There, I met many friends that I would never have met otherwise. People that don't drink, people that were there because they knew that no matter where they looked, they'd see a friendly face, they'd see love, they'd see someone that wanted to meet them. My name is Fabian Gonzalez, and I would love to be your Vice President of Student Life. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Patrick, for asking the question. The thing that differentiates me from other candidates is my platform is very detailed. I try to cover every single problem all the students face. Also, to make this promising and to make all the promises I make to come true, I put timeline on my platform. So I know exactly when I need to get all those promises done. So please check my platform at voteinsunfig.com. Thank you.
Thanks for the question. So why do I think I'm the best candidate? I have been a resident assistant in Lister Center. This is my second year as a resident assistant. And in my position as an RA, I look after the student life of 44 students on a floor. And basically, whoever is living in Lister, if they have any problems, they can come to me or another RA. We deal with issues like mental health, heavier topics like sexual assault, maybe. I think those are things that really prepared me for this role, and I fall under a lot of categories that the student life portfolio covers, so I feel I'm able to understand all the categories very easily. Please check out my platform at facebook.com/figureitout. That's FIGR, it out. Thank you.
Thank you, PJ. Now the Roberto.
All right, so I think I'm the best candidate for Vice President Student Life because I have experience in the residence life as the Residence Halls Association president. I have a lot of experience in bringing community together. This year specifically with a dance initiative that will remain under wraps until further notice. But it's incorporating people from residence life, Campus Saint-Jean, and really getting people to come together to complete something that's larger than themselves, that really shows them that we can accomplish things together, and when we work together, it's something much bigger and better than what we can do alone. And I think the biggest thing about being a Vice President of Student Life is bringing people together, getting them to get to know their community, get to know people outside their comfort circle, and making them feel as if they're part of the University of Alberta. My name is Patrick Kahina, and I will be your next Vice President of Student Life.
Thank you, Patrick Kahina. Other candidates are also welcome to ask questions, if they have any.
So, I got a very good question from the Gateway, and I really liked it, and I'm going to share it to the other candidates here because the answers in the Gateway were edited a little, but I really liked it. If you had unlimited budget, what event could you throw on campus?
Thank you for your question. I think Nicolas Jazz would like to answer that question.
Thank you for volunteering me. I would like to, yes. One event idea I thought up that is really exciting. So as you can see out of this big window here, there's renovations going on outside. We got the big fences up. The sub renovations are going to be finishing up next year, and we're going to have a new outdoor venue between Van Vliet and this building. It's going to be a concrete pad. It's going to be outdoors. Now, bear with me. This is an idea that I had that I thought was really, really cute. It's we're going to be. I want to get as many students out working together to freeze ice bricks, so we can create an colored ice brick enclosure for the venue. We can get out there. We can serve hot chocolate. We can have a barbecue. We can get people to do singer-songwriter. It'll be a fun time. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, good question. I love the unlimited budget questions. They're great. They give you a lot of time to think. Oh, they don't give you a lot of time. They just give you a lot of imagination. But I'm going to go with the idea that William Lau and Petros Kuzmu have already planned and make it bigger and better. Have a giant, massive campus-wide year-end party in the Butterdome, in the middle of the pavilion. Have a little pool party on the side. Have different rooms with different events going on, open mic nights, karaoke, something like that. I don't know, infinite budget. Yeah, that takes a lot of time to think, actually. But that's my idea. Thank you.
I think my dream event to see would be just a huge dance party, like in quad. Let's do it in quad. Let's set up a tent. Get artists from all around the world coming in. People, world artists. So we have Daddy Yankee. We have Katy Perry. Call Me Maybe. And just have an awesome party. Have a beer gardens. Maybe some wonderful, wholesome games that don't involve drinking, and really just having a good time, getting to know people, and getting your groove on.
Caliente. So now, insert pick.
The answer I gave to Gateway was organizing the parade. And I think it would be like a similar Heritage Festival where students can group themselves and show how unique they are. And also, since we have limited budget, I would like to have beer garden and also free food around the campus. I mean, everybody likes free food and free drinks, so I think it'll be fun. Thank you.
Thank you, Itza.
So, if I had unlimited budget, I could set up a 10th floor tower in the middle of quad. And on the top floor, there would be dance music, and you could dance. In the next floor, there would be classical music, and you could have a concert. In the next floor, there would be swing music, and you could go swing dancing if you wanted. In the next floor, there would be Call of Duty, Defense of the Ancients, League of Legends. In the next floor, there would be board games. In the next floor, we would have whatever it is that you guys came up with, because in the end, we would call this the University of Alberta Party. And I want there to be a spot for every single person, every single one of us, whether we dance or we don't dance, we like getting tanked or we don't like getting tanked. And if we want to try something new, there's little slides that go to each of the floors and little elevators that connect them. That's what I would do if I had unlimited budget. My name is Fabian Gonzalez. I would love to be your Vice President Student Life. Thank you very much.
All the money just to dance. Wow. I won't give you my feature. Next candidate is Nicolas Jazz.
To the other candidates, all of us are talking about how we're going to support international students, and I'd like you to articulate your concrete steps for supporting our international students. Thank you.
So first of all, I would use, hopefully if William Lau gets this off the ground, the ISA. If that's not already in the works and completed by the time I take office, then I'd work with the relevant parties in order to make sure that's a reality here on campus, as well as interacting with the individual student groups within the ISA to get a better feel and hold a personal connection with those groups. And use those relationships to really understand what international students are going through and show them that the University of Alberta is a place where they will have the same rights and privileges accorded to them as domestic students. And finally, to wrap it all up, working with the ISA and the SU in tandem in order to lobby to the government and lobby to the University of Alberta to make sure that these people are properly represented and that the University of Alberta no longer ignores this huge student demographic. Thank you.
Okay, so I am an international student. I've lived in India for 20 years and now I'm here. I know firsthand what troubles international students go through. And like Patrick said, once the International Students Association is created, I want the ISA to work with the current International Center in Hub to advocate and support international students. A lot of international students face a lack of soft skills when it comes to the Canadian workplace. I want to develop those soft skills so that they're more successful in the Canadian workplace. And lastly, work with different student groups and residence groups to support international students and work with other execs to advocate for international students in the Board of Governors and other student bodies and university bodies that make regulations. Thank you.
So I am very proud of what we did with the Not on Our Backs movement last year. At some point, we had 400 people outside council chambers waiting for Indira's and the Board of Governors' decision on international student tuition. And when, on the ramp up to this, when I was spreading the word about the Not on Our Backs movement, I came to a lot of people and I said, we need to stand up for this. We need to stand up for international students. And a lot of them said, why? We are not international students. My main concrete step, we need to change that. We are a community. We are all the same. I myself, my first language is Spanish, not English. I know the pain of speaking a different language. I think that the main thing we need to do is remove the international from international student, to realize that we are all one, that we're all one people, that we're all the same, that the next time someone tries to selectively treat us like cash cows, we will all race together. My name is Fabian Gonzalez, and I would love to be your Vice President Student Life. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm also international students, and being international student, I know what international students face and what kind of issue they have faced. That is why I start organizing ISA with William Lau and other students. And by having ISA, I want ISA to be the umbrella group that will represent different student group in the university, and so it can be able. So I'll be regularly communicating with ISA, and that will be bringing different international students' perspective to student union, so international students can be equally represented as domestic students. Thank you.
Thank you for the responses, everybody. Now, the International Students Association is, according to my knowledge, going to be finished their constitution writing by May or June. Now, I don't want the Student Union to speak for international students. I want us to speak with them, with the International Students Association having its own strong, independent voice alongside the Students Union for maximum advocacy voice. Now, in terms of the international differential fee, I have 3 things I'd like to accomplish as your VP Student Life, working with the VP External. 1, provide contingency support for those students so that when their tuition inevitably rises, they have support like the food bank and the mental health center. 2, I'd like to advocate for a grandfather clause so that we can have more predictable tuition increases for our international students. This means that people who are already enrolled aren't going to be surprised by large increases. Now 3, this is ultimately the end goal, but we want to regulate the international differential fee on this, the Post-Secondary Learning Act. Now, thank you for your time, everybody. Thanks.
Thank you, Nicolas. I'm wondering if another candidate has a question. And it seems like Inselberg has one.
I feel like now all the students are equally represented by university, and I would like to ask if all the candidates agree with me or not, and why do they think so? Thank you.
You can still repeat the question.
If the student is equally represented by student union or not, and why do you think so?
Thank you for the question.
Now, this is something I noticed when we were looking through the election demographics, and this was very concerning to me. So I went over to education, and education has a startlingly low voter turnout. And in my discussions with the Education Students Association, I found that a lot of the candidates were not getting over there to do one-on-ones, and I think that has to do in part with the fact that their voter turnout is very low, which it seems like a negative feedback loop there. So in that speaking with them, I told them to amplify the election so that we can get their voice heard within our election, so our candidates in the future will go to them to get their voice. Thank you.
And now Fabian Gonzalez.
I believe that the main reason people don't show up to vote is because the student union does a bad job of integrating everyone, of making you guys feel like your voice matters. And you know what? Your voice matters. We have 40,000 students in this university, 40,000 brains. No matter how smart I could be, there is no way I would have the ideas of 40,000 people. The student union, the student life that I want, has a spot for every one of you, has a spot for every one of your ideas. We need to build a place of which everybody is part, no matter what their ideas are, no matter what they think. Everyone should feel like they matter. Because you know what? You matter. I believe in you. I believe in us. I believe in what we can accomplish. My name is Fabian Gonzalez. I would love to be your Vice President of Student Life.
I think the Students' Union actually does represent all students equally. It's the students who are not involved with the Students' Union. We need to get more students involved because the Students' Union, regardless of who is involved or not, tries their best to represent everyone. It's an unconditional representation. It's like a parent's love for their kids, where the union really tries to work for all issues, tries really hard, which is why I really want the Students' Union to get the recognition it deserves so that it can it can do justice to the representation to all of the students and all the student groups all across the different campuses of the U of A. Thank you.
So put very simply, I don't think that the Students' Union represents the students appropriately. First of all, with a voter turnout around 20%, 25%, there's no way that the Students' Union can say that we represent 100% of the undergraduate students if we don't even hear 75% of them. So that's a huge systemic issue with voter turnout, which is something that we need to address, firstly, by promoting the elections before the elections happen so that more people have time to get involved, so that they have time to think about the issues and see if maybe themselves they want to get involved. In order to do so, I want to establish a voter base, a volunteer base that will help to eliminate some of the obstacles that new candidates face that are unsure whether they're going to run if they have enough people to help them with their campaign. And secondly, to have a pre-election campaign for the election. So really promoting what the election's about, what we're going to do, and how we're going to do it, and when to vote and where to vote. Thank you very much.
I have experienced this, and I know what it means to be not equally represented. To equally represent all the student body, we need to know what they're going through, and we need to communicate with them better. So I think we need a direct access with everybody, every student. To solve this, first I would like to replicate what has been done in sister university with University of Waterloo, where people can come to their website and simply typing what their concern and sending it, and you will go directly to student union body. So I think this will encourage for us to listen to different perspectives of students and make sure that we represent all students equally. Thank you.
I think now PG has a question.
So my question is, what are we going to do to increase student involvement in the SU. I'm not talking about getting more people to vote. I'm talking about how to get more people to know what the SU is doing, because not a lot of people do.
Thank you for your question. And I think Fabian Gonzalez wants to answer.
I think that's a great question, and I think that I am saddened when people say that when people don't vote, the problem is that the people, not the vote. I believe that if people are not voting, if people are not interested, it's because we are not touching them, because they don't feel involved, because we are not reaching enough to listen to you guys, because you guys don't want to get involved, because you don't feel like there's a point. And I have been there. When I first heard about the student union, I thought that it was a small club for people that like hanging out and playing like they run a school. But this school belongs to us. We all get to run it. I am running because I want to change this, because I want to involve everyone, because I want to listen to everyone, because I really want a student life to be student life, to be this, to be SUBstage, to be every single person in this school, to be Campus San John, Augustana, South Campus, North Campus, to be everyone, because we are all one. My name is Fabian Gonzalez, and I would love to be your Vice President Student Life. Thank you.
Thank you, Fabian. And now Patrick Kahina.
So that's a pretty fair question, is how to get more people involved. So that's something that the Students' Union has been grappling with for many years. And I think, again, we just have to use our resources to its maximum potential, have a passive campaign of lawn signs to get people to know what the Students' Union is, what we do, what services we offer. Using SUTV, putting on, this is Discover Governance, for example, which is a way, it's a special program that we have here at the U of A, the only one of its kind in all of Canada that helps people get more involved with student governance if they choose to. And really just using all our resources, using social media, word of mouth, to get the word out about what the SU is, what it does, and eventually will hopefully create a culture of involvement and engagement that people will be able to choose whether they care or not care because they don't know what's going on. Thank you very much.
And now the Roberto. Sorry, before that, I think Insert has not answered yet.
That's a great question. First, I would like to target social media. On Facebook, Student Union Facebook page does not have much like as compared to the university population. So I would like to use Facebook marketing to increase likes so we can communicate with the students better. Also, I would like to recruit volunteers so we can increase street team better, and there will be class talks and more posters going around campus. Also, I think we should create the event that all the students want, other than creating the what Student Union wants to see. Because Student Union is here for all the students, not just for ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Insert. Now Nicolas Jazz.
So for me, I look at what the SU is doing, and the people advertising for the SU on all of our different departments are already putting in so much work. So for our SU staff, I'd like to open a discussion on white matter and pursue Google Apps integration with the University of Alberta. For our student groups, I'd like to pursue a design audit on Bears Den so Bears Den can become an actually useful site, because right now it's a little bit ugly. Thank you. Now, for student group services, they have 3 staff and there are 450 student groups. I would like to expand the student group executive consult committee to make it a liaison committee so they have more active volunteers to help reduce that communications burden. Now, for more about my platform, you can look on the votediaz.ca website. Most of my platform is about connecting campus, is about addressing these structural issues and bringing us closer together. Thank you.
Okay, so I really want the Students' Union to work with student groups and residence groups like the Lister Hall Students Association, the Hub Community Association, the AUFSJ, and the Augustana Students Association to really spread the message and the work of the Students' Union to the students, because they are the people who are closest to the students and the residents. Secondly, I love the idea of SUTV, but I want a more active form of advertising and branding. People need to actually get the message. Like Patrick mentioned, there's always Discover Governance. You need to get that message out there. When you have Week of Welcome, beer gardens, I want the execs to come out on stage between the bands and talk about themselves and like just talk to the audience about what they do. And I really want to get council out there and let people know what hard work council does. And that's basically it. Thank you.
Thank you. We have heard now all the candidates for the position of Vice President Student Life. I know our president are impatient, so we'll just start with Adam Woods.
I'm just timing myself here. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming out to SUBstage today, or thank you for just listening while you eat. My name is Adam Woods, and I'm running to be the next president of the Students' Union. I spent the last year serving as your VP External, and the reason that I'm running this year is because I'm passionate, because I love what I did this past year, I love working for the Students' Union, and it's what gets me up in the morning, and I want to make this organization better. I'm running on a very extensive platform, but I'm going to touch on the top 3 points that I've been running on largely in this election. The first being improving academic advising options on campus. The Students' Union needs to be doing a much better job of giving options to students when it comes to figuring out academics. You should be able to track your education on Bear Tracks. You should be able to see what classes you've taken, what classes you need to take to graduate, and actually make mock semesters. You should, in your first year, be able to meet with a peer advisor. I also want to fight against the recent student group policy changes that don't work for students. If elected come May 1, one of the first things I would do is speak to the Dean of Students' office and ensure them that these new policies don't work for students and that they need to be reviewed in a manner that serves students. The final point I want to touch on is related to advocacy and the provincial budget cuts. I've spent this last year representing all of you to the government, and I have made it clear that education should not be cut. I have made it clear that in a province like Alberta, we should not see quality of education be put up for grabs because of budgetary deficits. I've made it clear to the administration that educational quality should not be cut just because of a deficit in the budget. And if elected, this is what I want to continue doing. If elected, I have the passion to defend your education, and I have the passion to tell the government exactly what they need to hear when they don't want to hear it. My name is Adam Woods, and I want to be your Students' Union president. And if you want more information on my platform, I'd please encourage you to go to adamwoods.ca. Again, that's adamwoods.ca. And I hope that on March 5th and 6th, you'll vote for me. Thank you. Have a good afternoon, and thank you for coming.
Thank you, Adam Woods. And now, William Lowe.
Thank you very much. Hi, everybody. My name is William Lau, and I'm also running to be your Students' Union president. As many of you may know, I have been blessed with the opportunity to be your Vice President Student Life over the past year. I would tell you about how passionate about my job, how many hours I spend in office, and how much work I put into the students. But I think a lot of you here that I have worked with can tell how much work I've put in. Whether or not an idea has been in my platform or has not been in my platform, I've put in the same amount of effort. One key idea or one key example being the work I've put into the International Students Association and the international student issues as mentioned earlier today. It's one point that was not in my platform, but still I put on over a month of straight dedication into that, and I'm happy with the results that we have. What sets me apart from the other candidates then, and why do I want to run for president? I think why I really want to run for president is because not because of the specific issues I want to tackle, but because I want to lead our Students' Union as an organization in a direction that we haven't explored before. And what is that? I want to prioritize student voice for our organization as a Students' Union. Currently, I see a few flaws in our organization. I'm sorry to admit, especially after a year of working here and being extremely committed. I see, no, can't say that. I see someone nodding. But by prioritizing student voice, it's more than communicating to the students. We're currently drafting up a communication strategy that I'm really excited to implement. But furthermore, once every 5 years, we write our strategic plan. And I want to use this opportunity to integrate values that will be passed on to our senior managers to make sure they will have more access points to our organization, to address all these issues that have been brought up by the VP Student Lives about why students aren't engaged on our campus. These are the organizational issues I wish to address, and if you want somebody to actually lead your Students' Union, vote William Lau on March 5th and 6th. So again, my name is William Lau. I'm running for president. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope to see you around. Thank you.
This guy's walking down the street. Can you hear me? Yeah. This guy's walking down the street when he falls in a hole. The walls are so steep he can't get out. Indira walks by. She writes down a press release, throws it down the hole, and keeps on walking. Redford walks by. She sends out a tweet, throws her phone down the hole, and keeps on walking. And then a friend walks by. Our guy says, "Hey, Joe, can you help me out?" So his friend jumps in the hole. Our guy says, "What are you doing? Are you crazy? Now we're both stuck in the hole." His friend says, "Yeah, but I've been here before, and I know the way out." You know, if you spend so much time at the top, you often forget how it's like to be at the bottom. Together, we face a lot of challenges. Tuition has gone up 360% since 1990. International student tuition is unregulated, and childcare can take between 1.5 to 2 years to access at the University of Alberta. I recognize these are big challenges, and I recognize that change won't come from 5 executive members. Change will come from you, the 30,000 undergraduate students. So I'm not going to stand here today and pander to you. I'm not going to stand here today and promise you the world, but I will stand here today and promise you that if elected, I'll try and I'll jump in that hole. My name is Bashir Mohammed, and I'm ready to be president of the Students' Union.
Thank you, Bashir. And lastly, the Dodge team.
Hello. We are translators of dog. There are a lot of butts in this room, and I want to smell all of them.
See into my eyes. Your problems, I solve them with licks.
Why don't students care about voting? Why is voter turnout so crappy? Maybe it's because keyboards aren't designed for dogs.
Like other candidates say, engagement is problem for a university. Nothing brings students together like such dog president.
When's the last time you've seen a fire hydrant on campus? When's the last time you saw those doo-doo bag poles on campus? Never. They don't have them on campus.
Many students are sad, stressed, lonely. Mental health is top platform point for DOG. More walks, more pets, interaction, and dog parks and frisbee.
I am dog. I do not speak, but I do.
Pretty little dog. Now we'll pass to the question of the president candidates. And Adam Woods is the first. He would like.
Thank you. One of the big responsibilities of the president is to be the person to have the overarching vision for the Students' Union, which is why I firmly believe that before you run for the position of president, you should have a plan. You shouldn't decide to run and then come up with a plan. So, to my opponents, why do you feel that it is important to come up with a plan before deciding that you want to run for such a big position? Thank you.
Good question. I think Bashir will answer.
So when I first joined the Students' Union, I didn't know we could do a lot of the things that I was frustrated about at the university. That's why I published my full platform, and I split it into three sections: the problem, what we should do, and how you'll measure my success. This is show my platform is accessible as possible, and so I'm not just pandering and I'm not just rambling on about whatever. So you can check out my platform. It's facebook.com/votebashir. It's detailed. Everyone should have a plan. I think everyone here has a plan. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Bashir. Next is William Lau.
Hi, my name is William Lau, and I can tell that this question is directed at me. Why? It's because I know Adam and as well as a few other students that were asking me earlier on this week, where can I find your platform? And I'd like to stress the importance of empowering your staff in an organization. If you're interested in reading my platform, it is currently on my Facebook page. But over this year, I've learned about how I could most efficiently work with our staff in an organization of over 200. And with working with this organization, the more I would give staff the hows, the what to do and how to do it, the less engaged they would be. For me to really fully empower my staff in an organization and have us work together towards a vision, it was most important for me to give them the whys and give them the intent behind my plans and let them and give them the tools to do it. So there you go. Thank you very much.
The Doge, the Doge.
Whoa, the dog.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Pause. Please pause. As an aside, this is Fluffy representing Dogue Team today, and Annie and myself, I'm Chloe, we're her interpreters, and this is Cody, the human that loves, and is loved by Fluffy. So Fluffy was just whispering to me that it's important to have a plan before you run, because otherwise you put the tail before the dog, and that doesn't make any sense at all.
30 seconds.
It leads to confusion.
You don't need a plan when you don't wear pants.
Also that. And yeah, just working together with the staff and the rest of the executive to support their plans as well. The president is more like a leader of others, more so than got the whole game plan themselves. Right, Fluffy?
Thank you.
So, thank you again. I'll just close off this question by saying that I encourage everybody that is planning to vote to please check out the candidates' platforms before you vote. President is an incredibly tough position. It takes a lot of planning, and you should know who has provided tangible outcomes for their goals, who has provided actual means to achieve them, and who has actually thought out what they're intending to do. So please check out all 3, 4, 5 candidates, presidential candidates, 2 of them are jokes, websites before you plan to vote, just to see who has said what they're going to do and if they've shown you that they can accomplish it. Thank you.
Next question with William Lau.
I really, really like Patrick's question that he asked the VPSL race earlier on, so I'm going to ask the same question to the presidential candidates. What do you believe sets you apart from the rest of us? Thank you.
We have 2 minutes or 1 minute and 30? 1 minute? Okay, hold on. Okay, so thank you for the question. Very good question. I would say what sets me apart is my advocacy experience. And if there was ever a year that our students' union needed an external focus, it was this year. I'm sure many of you have noticed the massive budgetary cuts that have taken place this year. I'm sure many of you have noticed that your classroom sizes are going up and that course availability has started to go down. I understand how this institution works, and I understand how the government works. And I know what needs to be said to protect our institution and our quality of education here on this campus. If you elect me, I won't back down because I'm afraid of how the government might react. I won't back down because I'm afraid of how the administration might react. I'm going to be honest in what's best for students, and I'm not going to be afraid to say it. So I would say that is the big thing that sets me apart, is a firm understanding of the best way to represent our students to both the government and to the university. Thank you.
So in this election, I'm the only non-executive that's running. I've been a counselor for the past year. So the thing I believe that sets me apart from the other candidates is that throughout my 2 years of university governance, I have taken principled stances, and I've done things that may have faced backlash from council, but things that I believe were right. I worked on issues. I stayed up all night writing 40-page, 30-page reports for council so that I could pass motions that I truly believed in. So I'm running here because I see issues, and I want to take action, and I'm a principled person. So thank you.
Wow.
Wow.
Such questions.
Unique candidate is a dog. Only one. believe that all candidates are actually dogs, but we're the only ones being honest about it. So.
Also would like to point out that all the candidates are drinking out of non-reusable water bottles, which is not very acceptable for dog behavior. Dogs can't drink out of plastic water bottles. Bring forth more ponds and large open drinking places for all of us. Just a cup water into our mouths.
Dogue is also unique in her heart-melting abilities of students, boards of governors, administrators alike. Thank you.
Yeah, 30 seconds. First off, to start off my rebuttal, I believe all of us as candidates are honest candidates. But what sets me apart is that I don't want to be a project planner this year. And if you want a project manager or project planner, don't vote for me. I want to vote to be an executive that can lead your students' union in the right direction, lead a students' union that will be accessible to students, and I have the plans to do so. Thank you very much.
Next question with Bashir Mohammed.
So to the candidates, what is one platform point that you support on each other's platform, and what is one platform point that you feel like needs more work?
Should we find one platform point on each of your platforms? Yes. I'm in strong support of actually really. I can't find actually one of Bashir's platform points that I'm not against, and that's an honest opinion though. But one that could use a little bit more work then is with the international differential fees and the regulation of it. I think you have made really, really tangible and realistic goals of what you want to accomplish, but the vision there and exactly what you want to accomplish is a little bit lofty. But the steps are tangible, so good job with that. As for Adam Wood's points, I'm also in strong support of longer gym hours, but at the same time, I actually think that library access hours are much more important than gym hours. I'd also have to say that the mandatory, what was it? It was the online, what was it called? Online academic advising is something that's been tried to be worked on campus for a very, very long time, and it hasn't worked. I wish you put a little bit more time in finding out why it hasn't worked and found a project that is a little bit more feasible. Thank you.
Thank you, William. Next is Adam Woods.
Address a couple things. I may have used the water bottle at first, but I have been refilling it with the water fountain since. But just for the record. So to start off on platform, to Bashir, his childcare point really did interest me. I don't know if there's a genuine need for it on campus right now, and I think that's what we need to find out. But if there is a genuine need, I genuinely think that is something we should support. I don't agree with his advocacy point. I think that our current approach, currently Bashir wants to reform how we do advocacy on this campus. I think our current approach of just sitting down with MLAs as frequently as possible is the best approach. Mr. Lau, unfortunately, I haven't had a great chance to read up on his platform. It was just published online today, I believe. But the one thing that I would bring up is his including student or supporting student voice point. I would just like to hear a little bit more about how he plans to actually carry that out. As for Doge, well, he's a dog. You really can't hold anything against him. It's a very good platform. Much bark. Wow. Thank you.
We go by the mantra of Justin Trudeau in that cuteness is the only thing that matters.
Against the platform point would be human advocacy, which is universal to the rest of the candidates, but will be ineffective. But we would like to shake your paws.
Thank you. So yeah, in terms of platform points, for Adam, I support the mental health initiative, and for William, I support increasing more communication with the SU. But with our advocacy efforts, out of an $11 million organization with hundreds of employees, we have one part-time employee that's dedicated towards engaging the students in advocacy. I think we should make that position full-time and have more longer-term advocacy efforts. Advocacy efforts are short-term because executive terms are only 1 year. In terms of childcare, I could turn RAT into a daycare center. That'd be a bad idea, but I could. And it would be full within a minute, and it would have a 2-year-long wait time. So there is a need for childcare, and it is a student issue. Thank you.
Next question with the dog.
Okay, so Dog is wondering if any of the other presidential candidates could be any breed of dog. What would they be and why?
I have to jump on this one because it makes me really happy to answer. I have a Belgian Shepherd at home. Does anybody know what a Belgian Shepherd is? Nobody? It's because there's only like 200 of them in Canada, and I have one. Imagine a husky, but a little bit skinnier and jet black. He looks like a wolf. People actually cross the street when you see him, and I would be that kind of breed because he's incredibly loyal, and he's just awesome. He snores next to my bed all night and keeps me up, but that's okay because he's my Doge, and I love him. Thank you.
So I have 2 huskies at home. One is named Lily, the other one's named Diego. So I'd be a husky, and that'd be because I could like stay outside and not get cold and pull sleds and stuff. So that'd be really nice.
Stay outside and not get cold. That's the main part of it.
I would like to be a Shiba Inu, because much Doge.
And of course, one of us answered right, didn't we?
Yeah, of course you did. All dogs are the right dog, Adam. So Fluffy is a Bichon, but she's only one representative of Team Dogue, and I guess Dogue Team thinks that a big mutt, a big, filthy,
Big,
slobbery,
dirty mutt.
dumb mutt is probably the best breed of dog they could be, because then it's like a little piece of everybody, you know. And they have the most genetic diversity, so they'll live really long.
They're cheap, they're inexpensive, there's a lot of them around. If you lose one, you just go find another one.
Going around. And they need to be enveloped in the campus community.
Thank you.
So we came to the end of this forum. We would like to thank you all. I'm so sorry to forget our candidate for the post of Vice President Operation and Finance, Corey Hudson.
So last but not least, my name's Corey Hodgson. Don't worry, I won't take too much of your time. I'm the only opponent in my race, so unless they let me talk to an empty chair like Clint Eastwood, this will be over pretty quick. I'm running for Vice President Operations and Finance, and so I'd like to start by asking you 2 questions. How many people know what Airmark is? Okay, so a few. How many of you like Airmark? Yeah, it's not really anybody. So one of the things I'd like to do is try to increase the amount of food options offered by the SU on campus. I think when the SU, so our businesses we have here, when we offer a food option, it's more affordable, sustainable, and healthy than what's offered by the university. And that's because our priority is serving you, the students, whereas Airmark's is trying to make profit. So I think with the culmination of a lot of really long-term projects, Fall Reading Week, sub-renos will be done in September, PAW Center supposedly done in September. We have the chance to think really long-term about some of our businesses, and I'd really like to instill a culture of growth and expansion in our businesses. So, for example, possibly opening more locations for La Express, putting them on the satellite campuses of Augustana and Saint Jean. Really, we can get really creative in here. I've been talking to a few students on campus about different ideas. One student I talked to had the idea of opening up somewhere that would serve Indian food in Sub. That's like something that a niche we're missing in Sub. I think we have the opportunity to be creative and innovative about how we approach our businesses. And by increasing our business profits, The SU is a nonprofit organization. Every time you spend money at an SU business, it goes back into serving students. It all stays internal to the Students' Union. So as we grow our business practices, we can offer more services to you, the students. So my name's Corey Hodgson. I'm running for Vice President Operations and Finance. You can check out my full platform at www.votecorey.ca. I have the video game posters. And yeah, I hope you come out and vote on March 5th and 6th. Thanks.
Thank you, Corey Hudson. We've heard of the platforms, and now we want to hear your voices. So I hope you guys have any questions. No? No question from the public? Okay. So we'll just close this forum and... No question? Go ahead. Yay, we have one question. Woo!
Hey, my question is for the VP SL candidates. What do you plan to do to increase the awareness about mental health on campus?
That's an excellent question, and I would like to thank you for the courage of standing and talking to us. It's really, really awesome. You are great. I love you. Now, to answer, I think one of the big problems that we have on campus regarding mental health is that at some point, caring became uncool. Caring about anything is uncool. Caring about your grades is uncool. Caring about other people is uncool. Caring about your parents is uncool. Caring about the school is uncool. What I want to do is change that. I want to remove the stigma about caring. I want to make it completely fine for people to reach their hand and say, I need help. For people to not be judged when they need someone. For people to feel safe reaching out. And I want to empower people that want to help to grab those hands and help each other to stand up. Thank you very much, Fabian Gonzalez.
So thank you for the question. Mental wellness is something that's quite close to my heart. After living in residence for 3 years, I've seen quite a few cases of mental wellness issues that I've had to personally deal with and help the individual involved. And it's quite a widespread issue on campus, and it comes up every now and then. There's a lot of student groups that promote mental wellness. I want to work with these student groups and spread the message. I want to make campus an inclusive space, a safe space, somewhere people will come and not be judged. And this starts with something as small as getting people to just care about their surroundings and make sure that they know what the people around them, their backstories are. You never assume what the backstory is. So just, be considerate, and that's the message I want to spread. Thank you.
So I think the how is really important. I think the biggest thing for me would be to interact with the faculty associations that have those connections with their students, to interact with the residents associations, and using those methods and those venues basically to reach out to the students, educate them on what mental health is and what services that we can access in order to address those issues. Because personally, I as well have been an RA, and I have seen people break down because of marks, because of schoolwork, because of family problems at home. And it really takes just one person to say, let me hear you out. Let me know what you're feeling. Let me know what you're going through. And directing them to the appropriate resources that we have on campus and making those resources more accessible and more available by promoting them through the various mediums that we have at our disposal. Thank you.
So this issue is very close to my heart, and that's why I made it 1/3 of my platform. So recently I met with the Associate Dean of Students to discuss ways we can integrate the wealth of programming that our mental health student groups engage in on campus, because right now it's very disparate. There's like 100 student groups engaging in mental health initiatives across the campus. I would like to create a standing committee with the VP Student Life as chair to bring all those mental health student groups together in one room to work with University of Alberta sponsored resources, which includes the Mental Health Center and the other resources, and the Peer Support Center, so that the mental health student groups have more cohesive programming in a community events calendar for mental health. Also, so that we can support those volunteers, because the volunteers that are in our mental health student groups put a lot of work in, and they're at the front line of a lot of very serious issues. Those volunteers need our support. So thank you. You can find out more about the other things I would like to do to expand that on my website. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for asking the question. I believe the mental health issue is the biggest problem in university. And the way I would like to address this issue by promoting the resources on campus is, first, I would like to encourage those resources to table in club fairs, so most of the students can be aware what's offered by university. Also, first-year students can know what's offered. Also, during midterm or final time, I would like to encourage them to table in high student traffic areas such as sub or hub or cab, so they can easily approach to the student and help them. I have more things planned out, but due to time, just check out my platform at voteinsunpeak.com. Thank you.
We have another question.
Yeah, this question is directed to the presidential candidates. I was just wondering, currently there's a huge disconnect between what the SU does and what the student body knows the SU does. How are you planning to remedy that?
That's a good question.
Thank you, and that's a very excellent question, and I'm going to touch on one of my platform points. One of the biggest issues that we in the Students' Union encounter, in my opinion, is, as was just touched on, the student body has really no idea what the Students' Union does. If you walked up to most students and said, did you know the Students' Union owns Dewey's and Rat? They would say, no, they don't. If you asked them if they know that the Students' Union runs the Peer Support Center or Safe Walk, they wouldn't know that either. I think half the battle is for us to ensure the student population is aware of what we do. We need to run awareness campaigns. We need to be unafraid to spend a little bit of money on promoting ourselves to the campus population. I don't think the problem is that students don't want to be involved with the Students' Union. The problem is that students don't know what the Students' Union is, and I think if they did know what it was, they would be more likely to get involved, and they'd be more excited about it. If you want to see my full platform point on this and find some detail, just go to adamwoods.ca. Thank you for the question. It was an excellent one.
I think the main issue here is that the SU is a bureaucratic organization, and a lot of the decision-making, a lot of the work is done at the top. It's done in committee hearings. We don't engage the students when it comes to the leadership college first. We go to multiple committee hearings. We have 2-month meetings, and then we host a town hall and 5 people show up. In my personal opinion, we need to facilitate, we need to make council more accessible for students. Right now, when I walk into a council meeting, we use so many acronyms, FA, MNIFs, the cost fee. Nobody knows what those means. And we need to make council more accessible. We can do that by expanding the council mentorship program and having the executive have their offices on the main floor of sub so you can interact with them and see what they actually do. Because we're on the second floor and we're away from you and we're not there. And we should be there. Thank you.
Like I mentioned earlier, I wouldn't want to be a project manager. I probably wouldn't want to run an awareness campaign, but I'd want to follow up on one of the large projects that our Vice President Operations and Finance has worked on this year. He's been working closely with our staff to draft up a communication strategy that's more longer term and talks about processes within the Students' Union to find out how we can work between departments and better leverage our resources to reach students as necessary. So what it might look like is a matrix of different issues that might come up throughout the year, a calendar of what messaging usually needs to be put out on one axis, and on the other axis, the different tools that we have and the more cost-efficient tools that we have, and how we could quickly implement them without having to start from scratch every time. So that's something that's currently being drafted. I would love to talk to you about it more in more detail later. But again, I think it needs to be really intentionally carried on and implemented on next year, and that's one of my main platform goals as well. Thank you.
So our dogs, hello? I think it went off. Oh well. Our dogs are running on the platform of accessibility and engagement via walks outside.
Also, dogs can't talk, so there's going to be no meetings. Nothing's going to be written down. Things are just going to happen, and you're going to know about them because they're going to happen.
Do.
Thank you.
Another question from the public? Yeah. I think it's working.
Thank you for the question. I think first we have to break the stereotype and make sure that we inform students that education is a lifelong learning process. That's why on my platform, I look back in old Gateway articles, and I found that there used to be a lot of mature students advocating to the SU for major issues like childcare, for example. And that's why I put childcare in my platform. There are students, and I'm not saying all mature students have children, but I believe that with childcare, we can make campus more accessible and make sure that students who are parents don't have to face financial barriers when they are accessing post-secondary education. And this is why I included it in my platform. I recognize that we're a students' union, and we should represent all students. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the question. And for those who may not have heard, the question was, how can the Students' Union support mature students? My answer to that, first of all, I do slightly agree with what Bashir brought up in that there are some groups on this campus that we don't represent as well as we could. And I think the first part of the battle is doing more outreach, finding out what more mature student issues are. One that I recently learned about this year that I would want to work on if elected is loans for students who happen to be married. I know this is a huge issue for a lot of older students that want to come to school but can't because their combined income with their spouse is too much for them to get a loan. But that money is meant to be put towards supporting children. That's just one example of one of the many, many issues that mature students on this campus experience. And if elected, the first thing I'd want to do is find out more, find out what some of the issues are, and find out if there are adequate ways we can address them. The second part is making progress on the areas that we already know of and ensuring that mature students on this campus do have a place in Students' Union advocacy as well as with Students' Union events. Thank you.
I think even though we always say that the Students' Union represents all students, there are always going to be some voices that are missed, and I apologize for that. And to talk on the how, though, and what we can do, I'd say that the most relevant point in my platform is prioritizing student voice. And when we work with our strategic plan to prioritize how dynamic a Students' Union be and how we can have more access points to students, it will allow students like yourself that have concerns to come in and bring up those issues to be addressed. Currently, I feel there's a lot of barriers within our Students' Union that may prevent, let's say, a project from starting. And if we change the mindset in our organization to be more dynamic, to be more flexible and responsive to student needs, it will allow students like yourself. I'll give you an example. This year as an executive, if you had issues, I would actually strongly encourage you to come chat with myself or any other executives, and we would be actually able to target what the issues may be and how we can work to support them. But unfortunately, that's not necessarily how the entire organization works right now with over 200 staff, and that's something I'd love to work on. Thank you.